And we are live.
We are live for episode 4 of Bonnets and Bathrobes with your girls LA and Shy. What's up, Shy?
Hey girl, how are you?
You know, LA and Shy, we just sound like two bi-coastal baddies, like
You know,
jet setting girls.
I never really thought about that, if I'm being quite honest. But I guess we really do. I didn't even think
Mm-hmm.
about it. But I mean, why not?
How is everything where you are, girl? What's up? Well, how was your weekend? Let's start
Um,
there.
well, so the weekend was good. It's hot here in Texas, but always a lot to do. So I got out and moved around a little bit and tried to, enjoy some of this nice warm weather. I know everybody isn't so fortunate, but I won't point any fingers.
I am one of the unfortunate ones, honey. I am one of the unfortunate ones. Yes, I am.
How was your weekend?
You know, things were pretty slow, which I appreciated. I did get dressed up and go out last night. So I had, I love putting my little jewels on, my little stacks and necklaces and things. So I did go out a little bit for the night. And then today I finally transitioned my closet from I'm slowly kind of purging and doing the winter to spring summer transition. Even though, here in the Chicago area, girl, it is not even close to being warm enough to pull these sweatshirts and hoodies and put them in the storage yet.
Oh, wow. See, that's the headache about being in the Midwest. Like the weather is so fickle. I will say I do enjoy living in the South now because I know I'm gonna get a couple months of hard rain and hurricane season. I'm gonna get 2 months of winter, and then I have my 8 months of summer, and I'm okay with that.
You know what? Enjoy. Enjoy.
Now,
Enjoy.
question,
Because
any
the amount of Botox injections I would need to prevent me from sweating my life away in that heat would be ridiculous.
It's really not as bad as people think it is. Your body really changes once you get into it. Like when
Mm.
I first moved to the South, I started in Atlanta. Well, actually, I started in Atlanta and I lived there for about 8.5 years. I lived in Birmingham for a couple years. And then now I'm in Texas. I did LA for a year. LA was by far my favorite, but now I'm in Texas. And I will say I do enjoy it. You couldn't pay me to go
You
back
know
to the
what?
South.
I have a good question.
Mhm.
A lot of chatter in social media streets about how is the LA experience for Black women?
Amazing for me. I didn't have any issues. Like
Really?
going
Okay. Okay.
out.
And were you on the dating scene? I maybe think the dating scene, going out scene, but I guess the girls want to be in PWI clubs, so maybe that's why they're getting that weird pushback.
So if you are trying to include yourself in spaces that doesn't in the norm include you, then you might see some trepidation there. But when you are used to just being you and you naturally fit into spaces that you gravitate toward naturally, you don't have any problems. I think the people who
Hmm.
report back and have issues are people who are trying to fit in spaces that on a normal, they really don't belong anyway.
Okay, I agree because I see a lot of like everyday people, Afro beats, all
Right.
out
Like,
in LA, and I'm like, why are the girls having a hard time? But I think, yeah, you might be right. They're trying
yeah,
to hang
like,
out with the crowd that wouldn't include them in any city. So,
right. It's like Krishan Rock going out there being upset because Kim Kardashian won't hang with her. I'm so sorry, but that's not your crowd. But hey, Krishan, we love it. You're doing great. You look amazing. Just saw you. You look beautiful. But yeah, you know what I
hmm,
mean? One of those type of things.
interesting. So, what is up on the docket tonight for bonnets and bathrobes? What are we getting into first?
So, I have a couple things I wanted to talk about. I don't know where you want to
Oh,
start, but we had quite a few headlines that popped over our screens the last week or so. Most notably, this
mhm.
Real Housewives of Atlanta tea. We're going to get into that. The whole Brit Edie, Ming Lee, Drew Sidora situation. We know Portia launched her podcast,
Mm.
her YouTube channel rather, so we can talk about a little tea that she spilled too. Um, We're also going to look at Pop the Balloon on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Where you want to
Yeah.
start, girl? You want to start with Pop the Balloon on Netflix?
Well, yes, we can start with Pop the Balloon on Netflix. Are you ready for that one?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, viral Pop the Balloon dating sensation has now gone to Netflix to be more inclusive and broadcast it to a much larger audience than Arlette and DM have been doing here on YouTube. Um, of course, we were all really happy when we heard about Netflix picking up the series, and we were kind of on the edge of our seats, waiting to see, what this was going to translate to on screen during this live, and I'm using air quotes, show that they're doing every Thursday. Have you had a chance to watch
Hmm.
yet?
I haven't watched it, but I've watched the clips.
Okay.
I've seen the commentary on X. I've seen the commentary on YouTube, and I've seen the commentary on TikTok. And it's
Okay.
not been good, but I know you've watched it. So, what are
Yes,
your
I
thoughts?
So let's be clear. I watched Pop the Balloon on YouTube and I
Mhm.
watched with an open mind on Netflix because I wasn't sure what it was going to give. So I was kind of just ready to receive whatever it was to see what they did to translate it from YouTube to Netflix. I must say, I was not excited to hear that Yvonne Orji was going to be the host. I would much rather see Arlette on my screen. But I do understand that they are more in an EP capacity. So when she was announced as the host, I said, yeah, okay, let's just see what they're going to do. After watching the show, if I had to rate the show 1 to 10, it would be a solid 1.5. And that 1.5 is solely for the set design, nothing else. Not the host, not the attire, not the contestants, not the layout of the show, not the questions. I don't even know what I watched.
It was that bad.
It was awful. Let's be clear. Um, Pop the Balloon is so great because Arlette is so relaxed and she allows her contestants to kind of be the stars, right? So it's the line of ladies or
Mhm.
gentlemen who are there to be dated, and then it's the person, male or female, who are there to select somebody to date. They really are the stars of the show. And when I tell you, Yvonne talked more than anybody, and the whole time I'm like, are you going to let anybody get like this is not about you. But again, she is the celebrity, she is the star. So I'm sure she is doing exactly what they told her to do.
A lot of what I've heard is Yvonne is being a comedian instead of a host. And I
Mm,
can see how that absolutely, well, in her ability, right? I'm not a fan of Yvonne Orji. I don't subscribe to her comedy. I haven't watched her special. I've seen clips. I liked Molly from Insecure. What I see from Yvonne is something different. And so she doesn't appeal to me, but
hmm
I don't love comedy. I don't like stand up. I don't like stand up comedians. That's not my entertainment.
And
But
I do. So
okay.
I do watch comedies and I do watch stand-up
But
comedians.
you
And like
do watch comedy, but are you a Yvonne fan?
so this is the thing. So two things. One, I did not know she was a comedian until I saw that she had a special on Max or something or another.
Mhm.
And I turned it on to watch it and I turned it off because at the end of me watching the 10-15 minutes that I watched, I still don't think she's a comedian. That's just me.
Mm.
But I think Yvonne Orji is the palatable Black person that they want to push down our throats in this particular capacity. Like, there were so many other choices for this. Why not choose Issa Rae? Why not choose Jessie Woo? Why was Yvonne the choice?
I agree. And the other issue is when you talk about an Yvonne Orji, a Nigerian American woman,
Mm,
the really, really good thing about Arlette's show on YouTube and like I said, I haven't watched this Netflix show, is that it is Black culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne may have been taking direction from showrunners for the new Pop the Balloon on Netflix, but have you watched the show? Because I understand your talent, but you have to leave the set when you're wrapping up feeling good about what you did. And if you don't understand the culture and you don't watch the show and you're not understanding the nuance of the silence, the pop is the show.
Correct.
The pop kind of reveals so much about when a woman pops and a man walks out, the audience can automatically start to dissect what the pop was for the woman. The audience can also see the insecurity that starts to build up in the person that just walked out. There is so much in the silence of the show that Arlette and BM understand. Yvonne and the circus act that I see from the clips that was the live Netflix show missed the mark completely in understanding what the show was. And in a dating age where everybody is like ghosting or not interested because they don't tick all the boxes, having having this show and dating shows like even Kendra, where maybe you can pull out insecurities, that is what the audience likes. If you're just goofing around, who's interested in that? Correct. I think they thought the show was a joke, right? They thought the show was a joke and the audience that watches the YouTube show was a joke. No. There is so much to dissect in what Arlette and BM have created, especially in the vulnerability and the assumptions we get to make about the people popping.
Correct.
Like, oh, they're gold diggers. Oh, they're petty. If I don't like your shoes, I don't like where your pants hit your ankle. I don't like your weave. I don't like that you wore color contacts today. I don't think you should have wore those jeans. That, oh man, we could go real deep into that.
Well,
but I know we only have an hour show, but I love it. Okay.
Well, two things, and I'll say before we wrap this up. When we watch Arlette on YouTube, we are looking at real people that her and BM have selected to be on this show. When we watch Netflix, I saw a recycled Rolodex of previous reality stars from multiple dating shows and reality TV shows that had a booking fee that were hired and paid to be there. So nothing about it was authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So it was a game
Absolutely.
to start. When I saw Johnny Bananas in the credits, I already knew what it was going to be. Because why is this 74-year-old man on this show with these 20 and 30 somethings? I mean, he is 81 years old. Why would he be on Pop the Balloon? Make it make sense.
Are we going to see in the next episode more of these contestants from previous Netflix shows?
I guess that's the question, and we'll have to stay tuned Thursday and find out.
I'm not excited, but I'll try to watch. You never know.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap.
Girl, what we got next?
I don't know. What do you have on your side? What you want to talk about?
Let's do it. I would love to talk about some things that I saw on Instagram just today. So let's do that. I'm going to bring that up now so we can talk about this. Is a study that was done by a college. This is in Kenya. And I'm sure it's only been published by the university in Kenya. But I'm absolutely sure the information from the study has probably been taken from wherever else, right?
Okay.
So let me see if I can pull this up really quick so I can read what the study says, because I love this. Because listen, this just aligns with me, and I know everybody think I'm like this crazy, bitter ex-wife, but child, no, the studies read what the studies read. And what this says is research shows husbands cause greater stress twice as much as children do for women. And research shows that husbands can be a greater source of stress for women than their own children. A 2013 Today survey found that 46% of mothers felt more stressed by their husbands due to a lack of support in parenting and household duties. Studies from the University of Padova suggest the stress gap affects long term health. Widowed women often experience improved well being overall, while men's health declines after losing their wife. That is so interesting to me because it also aligns with something I saw on TikTok. And once I put two and two together, the men are no longer able to deny what we know to be true. So let me run this quick little TikTok for you, and then we could discuss it on the other side. How about that?
That sounds good.
Awesome.
But the reality is that men are draining by default. That the default assumption that you need to make for a man in your life is that he is not the source. In fact, he is draining. He is draining by default. He is going to drain your time, your energy, your compassion, and your love. He is going to drain your beauty and your youth and your all the resources that you have. Men are draining by default. Even the best men I know are tremendous amounts of labor and tremendous amounts of risk. That just having a man in your life is going to bring you more labor. It's going to be your domestic labor, your emotional labor, your spiritual labor. Because as women, we are the source, which means that we are giving by default. Women bring value to men by default, by all that we pour into them naturally, that we give to their well being, to the beauty, to the joy, to their every single aspect of their experience in life. A woman by default, just your average.
I want to, before I let her finish, because the video is pretty long,
Mm-hmm.
I want people listening and watching us to understand that she is saying by default. So women who think they are, and I wish we could have pulled this up before we started tonight's episode. Gorgeous doll and her interaction with Future. But this woman from TikTok is saying by default. So no matter what you think you're benefiting from him, you never have the upper hand because we are generically baseline the source of everything in the interaction. And if you think that there is a dollar amount exchange for your energy and what you provide and the light that you bring to him and the peace that you try to bring and everything else that happens in that interaction, no matter how long, by default, we are being withdrawn from and they are being deposited into, if that makes sense. What do you think of this so far?
So, I mean, I agree. And I think we've had a real life example. Like, even so, a lot of people need something visual to make this make sense, right? They can't just hear the study or listen to her video and understand. But I can
Mm-hmm.
give you a very pointed example, and I bet you people don't even remember this. But years ago, and I cannot remember when, there was a woman, her name was Annette Larkins. She was 74 years old and she was a vegan. She had her garden, she was a raw vegan, took so great care of herself. It was amazing. She was
Mm-hmm.
74 years old and she literally looked not a day over 45, if you can put a number on it, right? Her husband
Okay.
still ate
Mm-hmm.
meat, out of shape, didn't take care of himself, Still doing the same things, not doing anything to match what she was doing so they could live this long life together. He falls ill because, of course, now he clogged arteries, heart attacks, strokes, and whatever else he has that's taking him down through there, right? In the matter of a year, her clocked age 30 years forward just from the simple stress of taking care of this man. So she literally did
Mm.
all of that to
Mm-hmm.
prepare herself to live a healthier life at an older age. At 74, she was in amazing shape and condition. However, it took
Mm-hmm.
less than 2 years for the husband to be ill or down for whatever reason. I can't remember exactly why he fell ill, but it was because he didn't change his lifestyle. He was overweight, still eating horribly. He just thought he would be just fine. And now she is in a position to have to now pour into him. And she has unraveled everything she did to make sure she could live a long and healthy life. And the next time we saw her, she
And
looked just,
this was a new marriage for her?
no, she was with him for years. Her name is Annette Larson.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
And
with him for years,
mhm.
and he never made the change.
And just imagine. Yeah. 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 And you know why he didn't make the change? Because he had a net there and his assumption, which ended up being correct, was
Hmm.
that I can do whatever I want because if something happens to me, Annette is here.
Hmm.
She'll get me right through it. And what
Right.
it did to Annette was, like you said, aged her 30 years in a year.
Yeah. Literally
Huh.
aged her 30 years in a year. And unfortunately, an RIP to her husband, he ended up passing last year because he just couldn't come back from whatever it is. And I haven't gone to check to see how Annette is doing now, but I
Mm-hmm.
hope she was able to get herself somewhere back to where she was before, since she has the time now to focus on herself.
I really want women to understand that I share this here and on my personal TikTok page and wherever I can just spread the message is because I want women to understand that there is a lack of control that you have in these interactions, regardless of how well you think it's going. Because again, by default, you are the source. So women who think they're doing well, like Gorgeous Doll, okay, Future was calling your phone. The Future who doesn't respect or appreciate any women, he's calling your phone, he's crashing out over you. Future probably was sitting next to another woman, and you're digesting the anger and vitriol that he's pouring out into the phone. And you think you won because you've introduced your audience that you used to do sex work with Future. I mean, what is the win? That's what I want women to understand. A Rolex, a Birkin, a car, a home is not enough for what you pour in. I just want women to understand that and understand the dynamic of the relationship. They're always going to be on top. It doesn't matter the monetary amount you think you're going to get from the man. They're always ahead of the game. Let me finish this video and then we'll come back and talk more. Sound good?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Average run of the mill woman, not even trying that hard, maybe not even that invested. By default, the default setting of woman is to bring value. Just you hugging a man, just you paying attention and listening to a man, just you caring for a man, let alone all the things that I'm sure you probably are so thoughtful and so considerate and so generous and so giving and spend so much time coaching him and counseling him and loving him and lifting him up. All these things by default without even trying, we do. Not to mention, you're going to be making his health better, his house better. You're going to be introducing him to your friends. You're going to be giving him fun, amazing things to be doing on the holidays. You might be giving him children so he's not alone in his old age. You're going to be amplifying his status in the eyes of his coworkers, his colleagues, other women. He is touch starved. He is lonely. No one is paying attention to him except you. Because you are doing these things, he has that in his life, and that is so valuable. And men are draining by default. They are going to take your time, your energy, your love. And the way that they counterbalance this is if a man starts pouring back into you by appreciating you as the source. That is how this is balanced, is a man who recognizes that you are the source and pours into you, sees you, loves you, uplifts you, appreciates you. And that is the only way that this value exchange is made right and true and honest, is by him recognizing you as a source, appreciating you for everything that you're doing. And
I want to point out that she tries to reel it back in by saying there's a counterbalance. But you see her hands for the woman never goes up. You pour into him, you pour and pour and pour. And if you found a man that appreciates what you've done, you then get back to baseline. You're never above. You never come out ahead. And that for me speaks volumes. What do you think about that? Pouring back into you gets you back to your baseline as a woman. I think you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay. I said my response to this is probably a little more on the controversial side. And that's because I'm at a place right now where I'm not emptying my cup for anybody. Like, I'm okay. I'm not leaving the responsibility of anyone to refill me to get me back to my baseline. I'd rather just stay full on my own, and just that whole responsibility on myself, because it has not been proven that these men are even capable of that in 2025. So I respectfully remove myself from that environment altogether, because it's,
And I respectfully agree. I agree.
the
100%.
waters are murky. I just can't do it.
I don't even think we need to finish this video. It was fun while it lasted. We are out. We are out. And it just reminds me of, do you remember the very wealthy woman who does trad wife stuff? And it's not Nara. It was somebody Nara did a content creator link up with. She lives on a farm.
Okay.
Ballerina Farms. Ballerina Farms has a husband who is the heir of a airline company. She wanted Ballerina Farms wanted a trip to Greece. She was a prima ballerina living in New York City. She left her talent, her profession, her passion for her husband. I believe they now have 5 children. Anyone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. Ballerina Farms told everyone on TikTok that she wanted a trip to Greece for her birthday. Her husband, the heir of a probably $1 billion company, bought her an egg apron.
Wait, wait, girl, stop. Hold on. Wait, I wasn't ready. Come again, say what?
The husband bought her an egg apron. His family. Think about this. She's a content creator who is blonde, white, and huge on TikTok. You probably can't even imagine the amount of money she gets from deals, partnerships, and TikTok alone. The man who she's married to, that she left her New York City career for, bought her an egg apron when she wanted a trip to Greece.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. In case you don't know, yeah, like I said, it's Ballerina Farms because she lives on a farm and she was a ballerina. The egg apron was so she could go get more eggs from the chicken coop. In case there was any confusion about what I meant by eggs in an apron.
Yeah, it's a no for me. No. Like, I don't even want to be in a position to be upset about that potential outcome. Like, I'm okay. That's a lot.
I'm do you like what? I am stuck like Chuck. Do you understand? I actually just was able to find it. So I'm going to share this for just a moment for all of us to take a peek at what happened and allow Shonda to explain what happened.
So I just saw a video of a couple and they're at a restaurant and it looks like the man is about.
Did you thumb?
Imagine you're married to the heir to $1 billion fortune. Your husband's family is loaded. You have given this man multiple children and it's your birthday and all you really want are tickets to Greece.
Tickets to Greece. A hat I can wear in Greece.
What's that hat?
It's not. Oh, my A-game friend.
Great, I can gather eggs. You're welcome.
Thanks, honey.
You know what she wants. You can give her what she wants and you give her something that she could do more chores with. I just saw an article about this content creator. Her name is Ballerina Farm. She has like millions of followers here on TikTok. And in the interview, she talks about how she basically works herself into exhaustion. Taking care of, I think they got 6 or 7 kids, if I'm not mistaken. No nanny. They only have a maid that comes in once a week. She is so exhausted that sometimes she has to lay in bed for a whole week. He can't even give her for her birthday rest.
I'm sorry if I dampen the mood.
Girl.
I hope this show is for women and people who want to see women excel and empowered. So if my content aligns with that, I sleep well at night. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you, girl.
Girl.
No, but that's a no for me. I don't have time.
Even worse,
No
she has
way.
to lay in bed for a week to please.
I'm confused at your family is worth $1 billion plus, and you have an entire TikTok platform where I'm sure you're making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Why don't you have a nanny for help? You know what I'm saying? Did he
Because
say
he would
you
not
can't
allow
have
it. That's not what a traditional wife does.
Oh my.
Traditional wives don't have maids and housekeepers and au pairs. No, they don't. Traditional wives work themselves to exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. And gather eggs.
And then the irony of his $1 billion status being that it's from the airline industry.
Correct. Where the tickets
Couldn't
would have been
get the
free.
girl tickets would have been free.
You know what's so funny though? And
Please tell me.
Let's not get it twisted. I would love to have my own farm. And yes, give me an egg apron, but it does not need to be coming from my husband when I ask for tickets to Greece. There should have been
And then
tickets
he
to
said,
Greece
"You're
in one of those
welcome."
pockets. Yeah, tickets to Greece should have been
He
in one of
said,
those
"You're
pockets.
welcome," before he even, girl, the way that thing would have been wrapped around. This is a family-friendly show. Let's continue. What do you want to talk about next, girl? Because I know we still got some juicy stuff.
Oh my goodness, we got a couple quick hits. So not going to elaborate too much on these, but they did pop up on my timeline this weekend. First thing, let me see if I can get this one here. Let's share this and get this one pulled up. So just saw here that Soulja Boy was ordered to pay $4 million after losing his essay case. Not 1,000% sure of all the details, but this was a pretty heavy hit. So he was found liable and now has a $4 million bill he has to pay.
Soulja Boy having an essay case and it being credible and found to be factual
Insane.
is not surprising. It's unfortunately
insane.
not surprising because we saw the way that Soulja Boy and Naya Riley interacted on Love and Hip Hop Miami, and I think they did 2 seasons.
Yes.
And he sat at the table while Naya and another young woman he was dating slung it out like fist to cuffs, slung it out in a restaurant. He sat at the table while Naya pleaded her love for him, and he still gave her attitude in those skinny ass jeans when she was begging for his when she was begging for, and can I please say his underwear were likely streaked? Soulja Boy sat there and gave her sass as this gorgeous woman begged for him to be truthful and faithful and loyal.
Mm.
This is a gutter snipe. Is that that's not how the word goes, right? A gutter snipe?
Yes, our lovely Miss Bonzant created that. Yes. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So gutter snipe. And this $4 million lawsuit, I hope they take it directly from Twitch or whatever TikTok. He's always on TikTok begging for gifts.
Absolutely.
So I hope
So
they take
yeah,
it directly from his income and don't expect him to fork it up because likely you'll never get it.
correct. And then my last quick hit that I have is going to be a
Please.
little tea that I saw. Sound off though. We don't need any music here. This was just a little tea that I saw. Not sure where this stands right now. We'll have to kind of figure it out. But allegedly, Amy Luciano and
Mm.
Dwight Howard called off the engagement.
Well,
Allegedly.
listen, Dwight Howard is known for having, you know what it isn't even about the sexual preference. It's about the lack of discipline. When you like everything, something is amiss. I don't want to date somebody that has no qualms about you being man, trans, female, pan, asexual, young, old, black, white, tall, short. If you have zero discipline in what you like at 50 some years old, you might
50-50.
have an addiction or a problem that needs professional help, not a fiance.
Uh, that's the tagline. You need help, not a fiance.
Not a fiance.
Yes. So we can
And
hold
can
my
you imagine
last.
Amy Luciano was doing so well? I was loving her on Loving Hip Hop ATL. She
Mhm.
was like one of my favorite cast members. She was, I mean, still gave a little edge to the show, but she was sensible. And then this engagement came out, and I was like, whoa, that was so out of left field.
It literally came out of nowhere. So yeah.
You know what's interesting is I'm just reading the end of this report here, and it says domestic police report filed. A police report?
Oh my goodness.
Did wow. That sounds like some domestic stuff happened, and we need to be on detective work before the next episode because we need to come
Yeah.
back with some tea. This is interesting. What is
Yes.
the police report about?
I guess they'll have to stay tuned for part 5 and we'll
Oh,
figure it
wait a
out.
minute.
Uh-oh.
And before we wrap that up, though, wasn't Royce Reed and Dwight Howard involved in some domestic mess before?
Yes, and they had her locked down with the NDA. But now she is screaming from the rooftops. But everybody wants to call her a hater
We
for
got to
telling
do a
her
lot of
truth.
follow-up.
Yes, we'll have
Oh,
to search the
absolutely, absolutely,
yeah, episode
absolutely,
5. We'll figure this one out. All
absolutely.
right.
We will. I'm so excited. We're on episode 4. Oh my gosh! Every time I hear episode 4, episode 5, look at how big we are growing and glowing and going.
Yes, we are moving right
What
on
is next
along.
up, girl?
Let me see. So I have my last story. You want to go ahead and go to RHOA, or you have anything you want to do before that?
Let's do HOA because this is good. This is a good, and you broke. Listen, the way you broke this down for me and tied it all together, top tier.
So
Top.
so this one is interesting. Let's see here. And I only grabbed this particular screen because for me, this is the only part that's important right now. So we know they showed the
Mhm.
episodes with the Kenya and the Brit Edie dramas. So all of this has now been falling out on all the blogs and on all the socials. So there's been Reddit threads, X threads. Everybody is talking about this because the question now is who gave Kenya the photos? people have
Who
alluded
gave
to.
you the photo?
Yeah, so I watched a couple of
Mhm.
vlogs. I know Jessie Wu had mentioned Ming Lee was involved. Of course, this is all alleged. We don't know for sure. But she mentioned Ming Lee had something to do with it, and she gave the photos to Kenya because these photos are not searchable at all online. Because let's be clear, we would have them. Everybody would have them if they were. Now,
Mhm.
Ming has admitted to having explicit photos of Brit in her phone, random and weird. Brit called her out on it, and that's a part of what this screen grab is. This is Brit reading Ming down, letting her know that no, nobody is lying. You definitely had those photos and you gave them to Kenya. Of course, Ming is denying it. But then we have our good girlfriend, Portia, who just started her YouTube channel. Shout out to Portia. And she alluded to the fact that it was the housewife that is currently on the show.
The
So,
housewife that is currently on the show, you and I, that's where our private discussion on the phone kicked up. And I
mhm,
said, who could it be? Could it be Shamia? And I saw somebody drop Shamia's name. Like, Shamia's got this good girl image. It couldn't be her. She has a young daughter. Da da da
mhm,
da da. So, okay, Shamia, let's remove her. Cynthia, of course not.
absolutely not.
And then you started telling me about the 5 degrees of separation or less. Let's say 1 degree of separation
Correct.
for Drew,
And
Ming
Ming
Lee,
and Ty.
and one more character.
Yes, the good old
That's
Ty Young.
right.
So this is
Ty
my
Young.
theory. My theory is Ming is still very much so involved, and it's quite possible that Drew had a hand in this along with Ming. And I say the connection is because they both dated Ty. So we have Drew
And
and
this is all
Ty.
alleged, everybody.
This is all alleged, of
Mhm.
course. But we have Drew and Ty that dated. Now you have Ty that's currently on Basketball Wives with Ming. They are dating. And it's really full circle. So how easy is it for Drew to drop a quick line to Ty to mention something to Ming, and Ming say, "Hey, Kenya, guess what?" So Drew could very well be involved.
And if Portia is dropping tea that it's a current housewife, and the only one that I can truly see her exposing, at least dropping breadcrumbs to expose, is Drew. Of course, Charles's wife, Angela Oakley. Is that her name, Angela?
Yeah, Angela Oakley.
Angela Oakley wouldn't have anything to do with this.
Absolutely
Shamia
not.
doesn't sound right. Kelly and Britt were super close in these first few episodes, getting to know each other.
hmm
And there's Cynthia and Drew.
And that's it.
Drew is the only reasonable suspect for this
So
current housewife
I would
suspicion.
agree.
Go
I
ahead.
would agree. I would agree. I would agree. I would say it would have to be Drew. It would have to be
You
Drew. I
putting that Ming, Ty, Drew thread together is so crazy. And thinking that it's pillow talk is, yeah. And this is all probably once they determine who the cast was. Ming
can't.
is sitting there with Ty, like, I can't believe they chose her. And Ty
hmm
saying, oh, yeah, I remember her because Drew, da da da, and oh, yeah, and yeah. And Ming running back to Kenya, who has been trying for seasons to get Ming on here.
And
This
she
is
was
a
an option,
mess.
and she was an option this season, and she was just not selected. So I can definitely see
This is a
it's definitely a mess.
mess.
It's definitely a mess.
There's nothing good I can say about what Kenya did. I'm even kind of revisiting what Britt said, and I'm like, even still, Kenya's response was way out of left field.
I don't feel
Way
like
out of left field.
the punishment did not match the crime, honestly.
Agreed. Agreed.
Be-
Now, if you went to HR and tried to get her fired, reprimanded off this season, that fits.
Correct.
But to turn your spa opening into an exposure was wild. Wild.
Yeah, that was some nasty work, I will say. Kenya normally, well, honestly, I will say at this point, I don't know what I think about Kenya because she has now isolated what I would consider all of the decent friends. At least this is the public perception, right? She has now isolated herself
Mm-hmm.
away from all of the good or decent friends that she had, like annexed them, and she is now inclusive with this Mean Girl group. Because let's be clear, the Ming Lees hang with the Karen Civils, and now they're hanging with the Kenya Moores. Birds of a feather. Mhm.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's not the girliest and friendliest
Can you
group of girls.
believe she really iced herself out? She put herself in that position and then iced out every ally she could have had
Correct.
trying to. Yeah, no. I can't even put it into words because it's just it's not making sense. It's not adding up for me. And
Yeah.
I think my wine is starting to hit real hard. So I'm happy about that.
Okay.
I'm trying to
What do you
counterbalance it with some water.
You
So,
know that makes it worse.
oh, I didn't know that. Here we go. Now it's
All
moving
right.
faster through my bloodstream.
Yes, that's what
How
you need.
about one more viral story that was all over TikTok this weekend? Every woman I know shared this story
Mhm.
with me. My inbox was full with this story. Such an unfortunate story, but I will share it with everyone today. It's so sad, but let's see what we got. This is a viral story that happened just this weekend. It might have started on Friday or Thursday, but let's get to it and see what happened.
You bloody liar!
Man, you go do no camera.
Get out!
Man, you go do
Where am I? And you may post here.
camera.
You may post here. So people will know you for who you are. People will know you for who you are. You're a devil. You're a devil. People will know you for who you are. Get out of this house. Get out of this house. Choma, leave this.
Unfortunately, I started the video a little before I shared it to our audience. So if the audience needs to catch up, this woman is in the home, in the living room area with the husband's mother, the husband, and there are a few children around. Apparently, from the comment section and what people who may be close to the family know, is that this woman married this man under the assumption he had no children. Him and his mother together presented this older child who you can see
Imagine you're
here.
married to the
Unfortunately,
heir to
I'm
a-
sorry.
Did you tell me she was your daughter?
Child
Did you?
in the background, she's on her knees with her hands in like a praying, begging maybe for the wife to not be upset with her, which I think is so sad and heartbreaking.
Mhm.
But your father put you in this position, chose to involve you in his scandalous lie, along with your grandmother. And now the child is forced. As the woman yells, Chioma, you have to leave this house. Chioma, you have to leave this house. Because in some aspect, you know, the wife could also be mad at the daughter, who was probably 14 years old, if I'm not mistaken. The daughter's 14. She's old enough to, like, I got to get, I don't know. Can you blame the daughter for also being involved in the lie? Siobhan, what are your thoughts? Or Shy, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't blame the daughter because I won't say that she knew that her father was hiding her as a secret. I won't make that assumption. And she's still a child. This is completely on that man and his mother.
Agreed.
This is
Agreed. And you
fully
can hear the
on.
pain in the wife's voice.
Oh my goodness, it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. I'm going to let it play through and then we'll come back and talk on the other end.
Tell me she was your daughter. Did you tell me she was your daughter?
Why is the camera?
You told me she was your niece. You bloody liar.
Man, you go do no camera.
Get out.
Man, you go do
Where am I? And you may post here.
camera.
You may post here. You may go and sue. People will know you for who you are. People will know you for who you are. You a devil. You a devil. People will know you for who you are. Get out of this house. Get out of this house. Choma, leave this house.
There's nothing.
Choma, leave this house.
Leave her alone.
Choma, leave this house. Choma, leave this house. Choma, leave this house. Mommy, ba. Mommy, leave this place. Leave this place.
No, she's not.
Leave this house.
Come on.
Leave here.
Come.
Children, go upstairs. All of you go upstairs. Go upstairs, children. All of you go upstairs.
So I paused it because I think I'm getting a bit more context. The daughter was presented as the niece, is obviously living with them. And it looks like the wife and the husband have 3 small children, 2 who were sitting with their grandmother, the husband's mother, and then this older one who was standing next to her half-sister now. And the 3 she told to go upstairs. So all 3 of you go upstairs. So now the older daughter, the husband, the wife, and the grandmother will be able to discuss this further. Does that look about accurate to you?
That is so manipulative. Like, and even still, she's 14. So you lie and say she's
a baby. Absolutely.
Like,
yep.
How many children do you know go against their parents? You know what I'm saying? That's just a horrible position to put her in. So this whole time
it's a horrible
she's walking
position
around
to put her in.
acting
I don't even want to go further. I don't want to go deeper into my darkest thoughts.
Right.
Of, is she even your daughter?
Oh my
or
goodness.
do you have a young woman in the house and you're manipulating everybody in the house? Do you have a young living minor child in the house and you're manipulating everybody around you? And this young girl had to take the position of niece, and now it's so bad that no, it's not niece's daughter. Is it worse than daughter? That's where my brain goes to, because if you can do this level of deceit and manipulation, is this your child at all?
I mean,
I'm getting shaken up.
I mean, let's be
let's
honest.
finish. Let's wrap this up. Because
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Please. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it's like, how many men are really lying about their live-in children? Because what difference is it to tell a woman this is your niece versus your daughter or your child if they're living with you and you're taking care of them anyway? Like, I don't understand the difference. Like, what was the purpose of the deceit?
Exactly.
That's a pretty heavy one. That's a lot.
And we know this is a different culture who they move a little differently than Western, maybe. I mean, listen.
I would want to follow this one up and see what comes of this, if anything.
We need to find out more. Okay, let's finish the video and then we'll have to definitely give our audience more detail on this.
Leave my house. Leave my house. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Come down, man. I don't care. Someone is knocking. I don't care. What? Idiot. I don't care. You're an idiot. People will know you. People will know you. Mommy, Ramaga. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Who is knocking? Who is at the door? Leave me alone. I don't care even if it's neighbors. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me. Come out of my way. 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 This is this. I'm going to tear all of your clothes. I will tear every of your clothes. I will tear every of your clothes. Leave me alone. Leave me. Leave me. I don't care. Is she your daughter? Is she your daughter or not? Is she your daughter? You lied to me. You bloody liar. Did you?
I am so beyond disturbed because the only time he took action Not when his wife was charging at the girl that's supposed to be his daughter, but was when the neighbors came knocking at the door.
It's very disturbing.
The neighbors came knocking at the door and he wanted her to calm down at that moment so he's not embarrassed in front of the town. Not when she was charging this child and telling her to get out. He was still sitting on the couch then.
Mm-hmm.
Not when she was screaming, asking for him to be honest. He had inaction then. Inaction when she was going after the child, telling this small child to leave the house. But when the neighbors came, it was time for him to act. I cannot let you go out and tell my business, tell my truths.
Oh, child.
This is so sad. You're right, Cribs and Controversy. This is terrible. I'm so sad about it too.
Oh, I don't think I was ready for that. That was pretty heavy. Oh my goodness.
That was so heavy. And I'm so like, I'm exhausted because I know the pain in that voice. We as women have all had that pain at some point where we're like, what is happening? And I don't even know if it's that level of pain. I've never had that level of deception, but I have had that moment where it's like, be honest. What is this? What is this? And you know what it reminds me of? The influencer who gave these long stories about how she found out her boyfriend was cheating at the bowling alley. And she said for like 4 days, she was begging for honesty because this woman kept trying to reach out to her. For days. She said it was so bad that the day after she got the initial message from this other woman that she was so upset she couldn't even function. And the next day, this same boyfriend asked her, babe, do you want to be in a music video?
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
No, it happened. It's all over
Really?
TikTok. The man called the next day and said, babe, do you want to be in a music video? And she's getting messages from the other woman and the mother.
No.
Babe, do you want to be in a music video? While he's raw dogging a woman
my
his
goodness.
age.
See, I'm
Oh,
happy
you
I
didn't hear
missed
that
the stuff
part?
like that. That's crazy.
You didn't hear that part?
No.
Oh, they were in a full-blown relationship, apparently maybe trying to have children.
Oh.
Unprotected.
Oh.
Relations.
No.
For months.
Oh, wow.
The only reason, aside from the influencer putting her boyfriend on camera, was because the young lady kept asking him. She said she had been asking him for a few months if he had someone else. And then she was able to, she saw one of the influencer's eyelashes at his home. And she told the influencer that's when she knew there was another woman. And the influencer said, I even leave lashes all around my house.
Well, that's kind of disgusting.
And that's when it broke through for her. That's my lash. And the entire time the partner was saying this woman is a stalker and had never been to his home. And the woman had details. She had dates that lined up when the influencer and her boyfriend got in an argument and they weren't together. Those are the days she said she was with them. The other woman said, yeah, this is the day I was with them. And the influencer was able to figure out, yeah, I was on my cycle that day or those days or that week. Or we were having an argument and he didn't come over my house at that time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You want to shoot a music video?
Girl, the way I would crash out, the way I would crash out if somebody played with me like that. Like, do not play with me.
And the level of deceit is still there. She said she met the man's pastor. The pastor prayed for her and him and the relationship. It was the deceit,
Mm.
I want to get more into that story because I feel like there's a lot of layers and information is just dropping and dropping and dropping. And I think it's something maybe we could talk about. I don't know. What do you think of this story?
Yeah, we can come back to it because that is, oof, these men are diabolical.
It's really scary. But then to ask you if you want to do a music video
Yeah,
after you've ruined my life? How should I dress?
I don't mean to laugh, but
You want a match?
It's pretty funny.
That is hilarious. That is so funny. Girl, I am in tears. That music video line, I don't even know what she told us about.
Some stuff
She never should have told us about that.
Yeah, that's not one.
Some things you need to take to the grave. I agree.
Yes, that was not one that the world needed. A music video? Girl, that's a lot.
What else we got to talk about tonight, girl? We got robes and recommendations, or what's up next?
So those are all my stories for the night for episode 4. Did you have anything else on your docket?
I didn't. I like to bring up the breaking, not the docket. I do like to bring up the breaking topics, and I love to discuss before we go because maybe we can transition this into our robes and recommendations section. But China has clapped back at the U.S. in their tariffs, and the luxury world is in shambles.
I love it.
All the Chinese manufacturers and even the Nigerians have entered the chat. Chinese manufacturers are exposing the luxury labels like Prada, Hermes, Ralph Lauren, Lululemon, Dior, L'Occitane, and all of the luxury labels you can imagine that we spend thousands and thousands of dollars on beauty products, accessories, clothing, handbags, luggage, shoes, everything you can imagine. And China is saying we produce these goods for less than 1/40th of the price. You're getting a 40 times markup when you buy luxury labels. Nigeria entered the chat and Nigeria said, even the leather, all of the snake skin, the antelope, the suede, the leather, the alligator you get comes from tanneries in Kano, Nigeria, which is a state in Nigeria. So if you're a historian, you might understand that back in time, there was a trade route called the Silk Road. The Silk Road assumed that China was taking their materials to Europe and the Horn of Africa. But in more recent years, as we try to uncover the truth about history, Nigeria is the originator of the Silk Road. But we don't know that to be true because Nigerians, listen, they're going to brag about something and they're going to lie about something. But, I mean, they're going to brag and lie. But it is true that the craftsmen in China use the materials from Nigeria and the Middle East, but Moroccan leather is really a highly sought after leather, and that comes from Nigeria, the same facilities in Nigeria. What do you think about this idea that the luxury goods are marked up at 40 times the cost and that we can buy straight from the manufacturer And the manufacturers are saying they're selling already. And it's
I
on
love it.
DHgate, AliExpress, and Alibaba.
I love it. Because why not?
I love it too.
I mean, because let's be honest, I think people really take this whole status thing so far, and it really says a whole lot about how much emphasis people are still putting on labels and tying that to their status. Like, let's be real, in 2025, with the state of the economy, why would anyone want to spend $40,000 on a bag? I could buy
Agreed.
a whole apartment building with that cash for a
I
bag to
think
sit
the
in my
other
closet.
issue, the other
Oh,
thing
go
for
ahead.
me, when you talk about something that costly, if I have the means, and maybe this is just me, and I maybe don't owe anybody anything, but if I can't retire people
Hmm.
that I'm close to, if my family still live in the old rundown hood house, and I'm sitting on YouTube buying a $40,000 bag, and my mama got to go to work I I kind of can't relate that. And I don't see people, especially the people that put so much emphasis on this. The people that put so much emphasis in this, especially in our community. I would like us to actually have the lifestyle that makes sense for that. And I think our biggest blessing in this life is when you have so much, you reach back and you give back.
Hmm.
And I just don't see that happening, because then you tell stories of how people are living on top of each other back in your family home. I don't like that. Or you see how, I'm not going to say it. People don't live right to buy $40,000 bags, in my personal opinion. It's not the same as, like, okay, maybe I bought a car. I bought myself a nice car. Most people aren't doing that in cash in reality. But to go and drop $40,000 on a bag, and you know your parents' lights about to be cut off,
It's wild.
that's wild to me.
I'd agree.
And we understand, just like you said, that's all status. That's all to impress somebody else on the internet, on social media. It has nothing even to do with what you really want. Do you even really want this one thing? Or is it just to show your friend, your homegirl, that you're better than her?
Isn't that what it always is about?
Is that not that's problematic for me? That's problem. If you know what, because the friend groups on these social medias, yes, it is. It is, because I know one of the popular influencers. She's a sweet girl, seems very nice, and she's always with the in crowd in every photo op, every fashion week, every night out, every dinner, and every vlog. She talks about how she feels so alone.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm like, these people don't really like each other. And maybe we can attribute that to why they make decisions like buying these expensive bags when their parents have a shutoff notice from the energy company.
Girl,
I don't know. I wish I could put my finger on it.
shut up notice is crazy.
A shutoff notice is wild.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy they're exposing the nonsense, and I hope people pay attention to the exposing.
Are you gonna do some DHgate shopping now that we know these products are authentic
I'm not
or close
sure.
to? Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't have to have the label. You know what I'm saying? The things
Agreed.
I already have. I think I'm over. I'm 40. I think I'm kind of over that. I prefer the quality. You know what I'm saying? I would rather go get a
I do.
cute, nice Coach bag than and spend a few $100s versus trying to spend a few $1,000s on something crazy. I don't have time.
You know what? The bag that I've been attracted to the most is this Bottega bag that is just this huge clutch. It looks like such supple leather. And I was like, it doesn't have a label on it. It just looks like a nice, those bags that go under the arm and they're just really poofy. And it's this beautiful, like green color. And I want that bag. And now you know what? I'm gonna get it off DH Gate.
Well, there you go.
There you go. That's our robes and recommendations for tonight. Any other recommendations you have, Shy?
What do I have? Let me see. I was trying to think of something. You know what? I don't think I have anything this episode. There was one thing I was looking at, but I want to use it a little bit more before I mention it, just to make sure. And then I gotta also make sure this brand isn't canceled before I start telling y'all about it.
I agree. I had to do that this weekend before
You gotta make sure it's not
I'm like,
canceled.
what y'all doing with such and such? Because did they do anything lately? You gotta check.
You have to check because you just don't know.
You gotta check nowadays.
And I know one thing
Mm-hmm.
that we did not talk about that we need to make sure that we talk about on episode 5. Did we ever get into the Married to Medicine, the last reunion?
Oh no, we
And
didn't.
the whole Quad Simone exchange. Oh my goodness.
I saw Greg dancing.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we put the Quad Simone situation. It's getting really nasty.
I agree.
Yeah, so we can definitely talk about that.
Absolutely. We'll have to put that on the list of sips and spills for the next time we're up here.
Well,
this was a fun episode.
Yes, we are at an hour and 11 minutes live. I'm doing my claps in a circle right now. We have officially put episode 4 in our backpacks. It is done.
We are so happy that anyone who was here tonight was able to share. Thank you to Cribs and Controversy for hanging out with us. We absolutely love when you all put your thoughts in the comments. Be sure if you're watching the replay to just leave replay in the comments. We love that as well. If you haven't shared an episode, share this one. It was so good, so intense. And I think we got really deep tonight, Shy. What do you think?
I agree. I think this was one. I must say, I think I do enjoy the lives a bit more because it's nice and it's fun to get the quick reactions, like the instantaneous thoughts. So I do love that. But I do think we covered a lot. We got a few more topics in than I expected us to in the hour. So I think we're doing pretty good.
Awesome. So we're at an hour and almost 15 minutes. And I think that was the length of our first show.
Look at that.
So it feels super nostalgic for me. I love y'all so much. And Shy, I love you, girl.
Love you too, girl.
We'll do it again later this week, right?
Yes, we will have episode 5 dropping later this week. Also, stay tuned. We will be reviewing a new dating show. That'll be a separate episode. So hopefully you all can, and we'll do maybe a watch party for that. What do you think?
I love a watch party, and I'll bring the wine.
There you go. So we'll do a watch party. Do we want to give the name of the show now, or should we hold on to that for now?
Let's hold on.
Okay. So we'll do a watch party later this week. We'll also be dropping episode 5, and we haven't decided yet if we're going to. Well, we'll continue with the Pop the Balloon. I am going to suffer through it for you all and watch the episodes every Thursday when they drop so we can come back here and chat about it.
You are such a martyr. Thank you.
Somebody has to do it.
I ain't.
So, Ella, you want to tell everybody where they can find you? Because I know you also have your content on your personal channel.
Oh, yes, everyone. I am Live Well LA. We'll add that in the description box as well. I'm Live Well LA on Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. Be sure to give me a follow. And I hope you really enjoy my YouTube content. I'm getting pretty serious over there with the consistency. So give me a shout, y'all. And Shy, what about you?
Well, I, on the other hand, am not consistent, but you can find me at Life with Shy here on YouTube and on my social media, so TikTok and Instagram as well. I am just now starting to post. You may see a few vlogs from me. You may see some reviews of some other reality shows or dating shows on my own channel. And then you'll see a little mommy content too. So if that's your vibe, come over, hang out with us, subscribe, share, drop a comment, and let me know where you saw us. And if you came to the Bonnets and Bathrobes podcast and you found us, and just kick your feet up and stay a while. We love you all.
We love you guys. Good night.
Good night.